So take a few deep breaths and notice if there's any adjustments you'd like to make. Any last minute adjustments on your back. You can change where you've placed the fascia balls if you want to. You don't have to use them at all if you don't want to. And once you've settled in, softly close the eyes. And let's take 3 nice deep breaths together. We're going to inhale through the nose and then slowly exhale through the mouth. So empty out wherever you are. Arriving together for our practice. Take a nice full, long, slow, deep inhale through both nostrils. Feel the breath filling you all the way to the crown of your head. Pause in that fullness for a moment. And then slowly let the breath out between the lips, softly opening them. And there's a softening here. There's a letting go and a surrender. And then again, nice deep inhale through both nostrils. Hold at the top. Allow that prana to fill you, expanding you. And then exhale, slowly release the breath out through the mouth. Emptying out, surrendering and softening into the earth. And one more time. Deep breath in through both nostrils. Hold at the top. And then slowly let the breath out. And allow the breath to find its own natural rhythm without shaping it. And become the observer for a moment, almost a sense of stepping outside of the body. And you're looking down at yourself and just observing and checking in with those layers of our being, beginning with the physical body. Taking a moment to observe from head to toe what's going on there today. And then observe your energy, body, and breath. Observe the physical body breathing and the sensations of the energy body. Observe your mental and emotional body. Noticing the thoughts passing by, emotions that may be right there at the surface for you today. Observe or check in with your wisdom body. This place of intuition, where we connect to our own truth we talked about. And trusting that guidance. And then maybe capturing glimpses of our inner peace or bliss. Ananda Maya Kosha, the essence of who we are. Our real truth is peace and love, compassion, bliss. And the more we take this time to slow down and take care of ourselves, all those layers, we come back home to that truth. Bring your awareness to rest in your heart center, Anahata. Begin to deepen your breath, lengthening it, evening it out. As we fill our own hearts today in this practice, we then have more love, or the excess of that love, to extend outward. If you feel full with that right now, I could ask just a little bit of our energy being put out to a good friend of ours who's going through double hip replacement surgery this morning. Also, make sure that you honor where you're at, and if you're feeling a bit depleted right now, maintain that energy, keep that energy, fill yourself, and then maybe at the end of practice you have the energy to just put a few thoughts. His name is Paul Newell. And you may have someone in your life right now who is going through a challenge of some sort that you can expand your love to as well. Find an even flow to the inhale and the exhale, breathing from your heart throughout this practice, filling yourself and sharing that love outward. Each breath in, you fill your own cup. Each breath out, a giving back. So this practice is Hatha Yoga, the union of opposites. Here it's an energy of giving and receiving. Maintain that breath. If the knees are not bent, go ahead and bend them. Bring the feet parallel, hip width apart. And let's go ahead and start with a little low back care this morning. That was one of the requests. So you may want to or need to remove your fascia balls, please. And then from there, let's find our way into our hip hikers or sliders. So just sliding the hip up the mat, one shoulder to the other, tailbone, buttocks, they stay on the floor. You're just sliding the hips up your mat. So we're beginning our awareness and movement in the sacrum. And then we would come to neutral and shift into our hip pointers. So just pointing one hip up to the ceiling and then the other. Opposite cheek stays on the floor. Small mindful movements, long, slow, deep breaths. Heart remains open. Come into neutral, and then we'll go ahead and alternate between these two, hip hikers and hip pointers. Take your time, continue to breathe. Receiving on inhale, giving back on exhale. flat to neutral, and then find your way into pelvic tilts, posterior tilt, tuck the tailbone under, anterior tilt, we create a little back bend. The movement is mainly generated from your core and from the pelvis. The feet are relaxed, so we're not pressing really too hard into the floor. This isn't a bridge pose, we're just creating the pelvic tilts through our core. And then bring the knees into the chest. Feel that stretch. You might feel a little stretch through that low back, so just be gentle as you slowly draw the knees in. Just notice what's going on there for you. And then we'll move into our Apanasana on our knees to chest. So inhale, arm lengths away. And exhale towards you. If the low back is particularly sensitive today, the movement may need to be a little smaller. And then let's go ahead from here and begin to circle the knees. Going several times each direction. And then let's place our feet into the floor. Open the arms wide from the shoulders, palms up. We'll come into our double knee drops, so knees bent, feet wide, probably as wide as your mat. And exhale, release the knees to one side. Inhale, open wide, and exhale to the other side. Just going back and forth here. Taking our time with that slow, extended breath. Breathing from the heart. Receiving, giving back. And then if you'd like to add the head, just begin to roll it side to side in the opposite direction the knees go. So creating a gentle twist, really from all the way from the cervical spine, your neck, down to the tailbone, down to your sacrum. When you've gone equally side to side, let's go ahead and bring the knees back up to center, feet hip width apart, and extend the right foot to the ceiling. Low back request, we're going to get into hamstrings and hips here, so interlace the hands behind that right thigh. If it's uncomfortable to interlace your fingers, you can also simply place one hand on top of the other, that's fine. Either way works. And let's find a little movement here. The exhale, we bend the knee. We release the heel towards the buttocks. Inhale, extend the foot to the ceiling. And just continue to move in and out of this 4 or 5 times slowly with your breath. Just checking out how the back of that leg is feeling from the hamstring through the back of the knee into the calf, maybe even too. And then eventually coming into extension and hold. Hold in that stretch, point and flex the foot. And maybe circle it around a bit. Eventually coming towards a flexed foot, pressing the heel to the ceiling. Hold in the stretch and breathe. You have the option to extend the left leg along the floor if you'd like to. And if you do that, attempt to bring the back of the left thigh into the floor. And you can find that a little more easily if you allow the pelvis to find that anterior tilt. So in other words, you're creating that space between the lumbar spine and your mat. And if you tuck that under, you're shortening that hamstring attachment in the glute, and you're going to create, and that left thigh pops up off the floor. You can play with that. Reverse that anterior tilt, and feel it start to anchor towards the floor. That's what we want. Two more breaths here. Good. Bend the right knee, bend the left knee, place the foot on the floor. Let's stay on this right side for a moment. Place the right ankle on the left knee into our figure four. So a little into the hip now, the IT band, the groin. And you can keep the left foot on the floor and gently push that right knee away. Or you can grab through the hole behind the left thigh, pick that entire figure four up off the floor, and find the stretch there. Take about 4 to 5 slow breaths here. And then release that to the floor. Right foot down. Extend the left leg. Interlace your fingers behind the left thigh. And 4 to 5 rounds, exhale, bend. Inhale, extend. Next time you come into extension, let's hold. Play with the foot a bit, point and flex several times. Circle the foot around several times in each direction into the ankle joint. And then hold in the stretch, pressing the heel to the ceiling. And if it's available to you today, you can extend that right leg out along the floor, finding that same pelvic tilt, that anterior tip of the pelvis, so you can start to anchor the back of that right thigh into your mat. So you're welcome to begin to pull the extended leg towards you as long as you don't lose the foundation of that right thigh in the earth and that pelvic anterior tilt of the pelvis. Right, so to have the most effect on our low back in stretching the hamstrings is to keep all of that extended. Bending that right knee, placing the foot in the floor, Bring the left ankle to the right knee. You can stay here, just push the knee away from you, or come up into your figure four. Here, of course, you will find more of a rounding of the low back. You can still play with that though. You can still try to draw the tailbone into the floor. Feel that anterior tip of the pelvis and notice how that shifts the stretch in your hip and your groin. Release that. Place both feet into the floor. Take a full body extension. You may have to remove anything you have over your head. Stretch through fingertips and toes. Yeah, and then give yourself a great big hug. Right, bring the knees in, wrap the arms around the knees. If your neck feels okay to do this, you can bring your head up off the floor. Maybe roll a little bit side to side. And then we'll go ahead and roll to one side, finding our way to hands and knees. If you have two blocks with you, you may want to bring them to the front of your mat. And then we'll go ahead and begin with our cat-cow. Move into our, very common mini flow this morning before we come into some of the other postures. So let's start to create. I had a few requests for some movement, really just kind of stimulating the energy. So this is a really nice way to do that. For those of you who need more calming energy, you're going to want to keep this slow, very deliberate and slow, longer breaths, really take your time. And for those of you who want to bring in some energy, need some motivation, just kind of feeling like you're stagnant, then you can take this and move a little bit more quickly. Okay, so I'll leave that up to you. Exhaling, round the spine. Inhaling, open. And as we round the spine, draw the navel up to the spine. We engage the core. Keep that engagement even as we move through into a gentle back bend. From here, we'll take this into our Chakravakasana, exhaling back to the heels, child's pose. And inhaling back up. We can still maintain a focus of the heart moving with the breath. Being led by our heart. Some of you, it may feel nice to start to bring the heart forward of the hands, lengthening the spine, modified up dog. Exhale back into child's. So as you lengthen forward, if you're making that option, then you want to make sure that core stays strong and that it's lengthening of the spine, not a dropping of the hips into a back bend. And the next time you find your way up to hands and knees, curl the toes under, finding our way into our first down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And let's take this dog for a walk. Start to pedal the feet, bending one knee and then the other. You can shift through the hips and moving through the spine. Find your way forward into a plank pose, pressing back again. Just warming up, creating a little strength here, creating a little heat. And then finding your way back to hands and knees and into a child's pose. Pause for a moment, feel the echo of the practice, the choices you made, how they're serving you, if there's anything you want to change. So we're going to come into our mini flow. And here's where you're going to choose either to move through it a little more quickly, you're needing some energy, or to maintain a very slow, mindful connection between the poses and your breath, slowing it down to feel a little more grounded or a little bit more calming. So you decide. Either way, the inhale brings us up to hands and knees, and we alternately exhale between down dog and child's pose at your own pace. And you can also add on that extended up dog or modified up dog from child's pose if you choose. Next time you find your way to hands and knees, go ahead and pause there. And we're going to come into a low lunge. Let's start with our left foot forward today. And if you have blocks, you're welcome to place them on either side of that foot, edges of your mat. Let's just do our very common or typical lunge rock here for a moment, just back and forth. Check out that right hip flexor as you move forward, the left hamstring as you draw back. Just kind of invite them into the practice and notice who you're inviting. How are they feeling today? What would nourish you? What choices do you need to make to feel nourished by this practice as opposed to depleted? And then we're going to come forward into neutral, move the blocks off to the side, press back into down dog. Take a moment, just take a few breaths here in your down dog pose, okay, in Adho Mukha Svanasana, just holding and breathing here. And then inhaling to your knees, exhale child's pose, and just a few rounds, either a little more quickly or a little more slowly of your flow. You're also welcome to just stay in child's pose for several breaths. Right? Really knowing your options and choosing that which is nourishing and healing for you today. Next time you find your way to hands and knees, pause there. And we're going to bring our right foot up to the front of our mats. Place the blocks if you're using them. And then we'll go ahead and rock rock back and forth here. So now we'll check out our left hip flexor and our right hamstring. Moving with breath and heart. And then coming to neutral, go ahead and remove the blocks. Press back into down dog. Pause for 3 breaths here in the pose. Strong and steady. The lengthening of the spine. Press the palms into the earth. And then inhaling to knees and release into child's pose. Just feel the practice so far and how the body, the mind, the breath are responding to your choices. Your inhale will bring you back to hands and knees. Go the toes under, exhale, down dog. And now let's walk our feet up to our hands, the front of the mat. Hanging out, standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Release the head, relax the shoulders, allow the spine to drape over the thighs, bend the knees if necessary. You also have a block nearby if you were using one. You're welcome to use a block, lifting the heart a bit. That creates a little more ease in your forward fold for you. And extend the arms out along your side, reaching back with your fingertips. Engage the core as you start to lift the heart through a lengthening of the spine. Bend the knees. That's much easier on the low back. And then coming on up. Bringing the arms overhead. And down to meet the palms at the heart. And breathe here. Coming to standing, finding our balance, our connection into the earth from a standing position, Tadasana. Then we're going to go ahead and move through some sun salutations with the lunge. So please choose whether or not you're asking for a more active practice today, or you were asking for something that was a little more calming. And so then you can choose how quickly you move through this, and then you'll also be able to choose if you'd rather be in a low lunge or a high lunge, right? You can keep the knee in the floor for a low lunge, keep the practice on a kind of closer to the earth, a little more calming. You can find something more active and more about strength if you want to come into that high lunge, right? So I'll be showing a little bit of both, and you can decide what's best for you. Okay. So on an inhale, reach the arms overhead. And let's bring the palms down through center. Exhale, fold forward, bend the knees softly along the way. Placing the palms into the floor if you can, at least the fingertips. Inhale, halfway, hands to your shins just below the knees as you lift the heart, lengthening the spine. And exhale, fold. Right foot steps back. Okay, again, you can come up from here with that back leg extended, or bring the right knee into the floor as we inhale up. Pause here for a few breaths. Palms face one another, we're reaching overhead. And again, that's about an active practice. You can feel the strength. We're going to increase our heart rate more as soon as the arms are lifted. Looking for something quieter, more calming. Maybe bring them to your heart. You decide. There's a lot of options. Opening the heart. And on your exhale, fold forward. Press back into down dog. Inhale to hands and knees. Exhale, child's. Inhale back to hands and knees or forward with the heart, lengthening the spine. Curl the toes under. Exhale again, down dog. Now either from down dog or from the knees, look up and we're going to bring our right foot forward. High or low lunge. So you're going to keep that back leg extended or bring the left knee into the floor. Getting stable and grounded first, regardless of what you're choosing. And then the inhale brings us up to our lunge. Active pose, arms overhead. Quieting, calming, centering, grounding, softening. Maybe the hands at the heart. Several long, smooth, steady breaths here. And on your next exhale, fold forward and step the left foot to the front of your mat. So we're now in a standing forward fold where we began. Spine draping over the thighs. On your inhale, lengthen the spine halfway. Engage the core. Exhale, release. Arms by your side or out wide. Inhale to come up. Palms together overhead. Exhale into the heart. So feel your choices. Just notice how the body's responding. Notice the sensations in the body. And we'll go through that again. Inhale, reach up. Maybe gaze up. Exhale down through center, fold forward. Inhale halfway. And exhale, release. Step the left foot back. High or low lunge, so either the left knee's coming in the floor or not. And when you feel stable, inhale up. You decide the expression of the pose in your upper body. Exhale, fold forward. Press back into down dog. And inhale will bring us to our knees. Exhale into child's pose. Inhale back to knees or forward with the heart. Exhale, down dog. And either from here or lower to the knees, your left foot steps up. Get grounded, feel stable. High or low lunge. The inhale brings you up. And find your expression Up into your heart, breathing deeply. On your exhale, fold forward and step the right foot up. Forward, standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale to standing, use your core, lengthen the spine and come up. Palms together and exhale into the heart. Pause, feel the practice. Inhale, reach up, gaze up. Exhale down through center, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, release. Right foot steps back. Your inhale brings you to a high or low lunge. I'd like to come into a twist here. So if you're in a high lunge and you feel a bit unstable, you may want to bring that right knee to the floor. We're going to bring our right hand to the outside of the left knee, left hand to our sacrum. Spine stays lifted and lengthened. We press the knee into the hand presses back. That pressure brings us into the twist. Okay, and then we can take the gaze out through that back shoulder if you choose. On an exhale, unwind and fold forward, pressing back into down dog. It's all one exhale, slow and steady. Inhale to the knees. Exhale, child's. Inhale back to the knees and forward or forward with the heart. Exhale, down dog. From down dog or knees, we're going to go ahead, step the right foot forward, low lunge or high, but we are coming into a twist. Depends on how you'd like to challenge yourself today. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, we're going to move to the right. So the left hand to the outer edge of the right knee, right hand to your sacrum. Shoulders down and open, so the heart's open. Spine is long. Press the hand into the knee, knee into the hand, and allow that pressure, that resistance to move you into the twist. Keep breathing. Exhale, slowly unwind. Place both hands on either side of your mat and step the left foot up. If you can, that was all one exhale. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, release. Inhale to come up, lengthen the spine, use your core. Palms together and exhale into the heart. We're going to go one more round of this salutation with the twist. But this time we won't hold in the twist. We're going to move right through it. So you can decide whether you want to do a high or low lunge here. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, release. Left foot steps back, high or low lunge. Your inhale brings you up. Exhale into the twist. We inhale, arms overhead, face forward. Exhale, place the hands on the floor, pressing back into down dog. Inhale to the knees. Exhale, child's. Inhale to knees, you're forward with the heart. Exhale, down dog. Step the left foot up, down dog or knees, high or low lunge. We inhale, rise. Exhale, twist. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Right foot steps up. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, release. Inhale to come up to standing. And bring it all into the heart. Exhale here, pause, and breathe. Feel the practice. Good, and release the hands. Let's come into tree pose. Let's do a balancing pose this morning. I'll stay back here. I don't know if you can see me. Still can't see me, but anyway. All right. We'll keep our right foot in the floor to begin today. Start with the other side. And you can begin with simply placing your left heel on your ankle, toes on the floor. Now also feel free to find a wall. You may want to lean up against a wall. That's completely acceptable, right? Sometimes you can use, like if you have a folding chair, they're really nice for our practice. You can use that too. Either way. All right, so then from here you might find your dristi. You want to find your gazing point. Come into your breath and feel the steadiness and the strength of your right leg. Bring trust into your trunk, okay, that it's stable, that it's grounded. And then from there you can bring your foot to your calf if you want to. And some of you may be able to bring the foot up to the inner thigh, all the way to the groin. And then we find our branches. Releasing that foot, release the arm, shake that right leg out. Give a little love. And then we'll switch sides. So right heel rests on the left ankle, right toes in the floor, spine long. Feel the strength and the stability in that left leg. Feel those roots into the earth, grabbing onto that. The earth is about stability, literally. In Ayurveda, earth is about being stable, and so really connecting into the nourishment of that. Find your drishti, your gazing point. That's steady. Breath is steady. And then maybe the foot comes to the calf. Again, you can have a hand on the wall if you need to, or a chair. Maybe the foot can come to the inner thigh. Not when you're talking. Eventually bringing that foot back into the floor, releasing the arms. Take a few deep breaths. Notice if you were holding your breath. It's quite common in balancing poses. And then if you're not at the front of your mat, go ahead and come back there. Inhale, reach up, palms together. Exhale, fold forward. Then walk both feet back. Bring the knees to the mat. Take the mat as wide as your mat. Let the big toes touch. And then draw the torso in between the thighs. So you're going to get a little bit of an inner thigh stretch here. Arms extended. Bring your forehead to the floor. And then soften your heart towards the earth. Breathing deeply here. Take about 3 more breaths. Find your way back to hands and knees and roll onto your backs. And from here, draw the knees into the chest. So taking a moment just for a few releases. My intention this morning is I'm going to do some pranayama practice with you to bring you into Shavasana, which will be a guided, kind of an abbreviated yoga nidra this morning. Maybe circle the knees wide. And then placing the feet into the floor and coming back into a few hip hikers and pointers again. Just noticing the difference as we come to the completion of the movement part of the practice. We're ending with what we began with and just noticing if there's been a shift at all. Coming to neutral, decide what support you would like in Shavasana. So do you want a blanket underneath your head? Do you want a pillow underneath your knees? Anything else? Maybe you want to come back to the fascia balls if you use those at the beginning. You're certainly welcome to use those for the entire Shavasana here. Just take a moment to get settled. Once you are settled, observe the breath without manipulating it or shaping it. Just simply observe your body breathing for a moment. From observing the breath, we're going to move into shaping it. So I invite you to find a nice, smooth, continuous flow, equal length between the inhale and the exhale. And it flows smoothly from one to the other, the inhale to the exhale, and the exhale into the inhale. So there's no pause. Notice the breath moving through the nostrils. We want to be breathing through the nostrils. Noticing if one feels a little congested or one feels more open. We're going to come into our psychic alternate nostril breathing. So rather than using the fingers to guide it, we're just going to do this in our mind's eye. So that on your next inhale, imagine the breath moving in through the right nostril, all the way to the third eye. And then the exhale moves from the third eye out the left nostril. And then we inhale through the left to the third eye, the area between the eyebrows. And we exhale out through the right. So we switch directions, we switch nostrils after the inhale. So we inhale right, hold to the third eye, exhale left, inhale left, exhale right. And we're taking the breath, each time we take the breath in, all the way to the third eye, and exhaling out the opposite side. This is an emotionally balancing pranayama, energetically, physically. It brings balance to our adrenals, to all the various energy systems within the body. As we stay with this for a few more moments, or minutes rather, notice if there's the urge or calling to hold the breath and your attention at that third eye. Honor that and go ahead and then hold the breath there. It may even be a sensation or a pulse. And then when you're ready, you'll exhale out through the opposite nostril. So that's a choice you have if you'd like to do that. If you feel called to do so. The next time you exhale out through the right nostril, release the shaping of the breath. Allow it to find its own natural rhythm. Receiving the guidance of this Yoga Nidra practice, and as I mentioned, points along the body. The intention is about healing and nourishing. So receiving healing and nourishment as we move through the body. Bring your undivided attention to the brow center, pit of the throat, right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, right elbow, right shoulder, pit of the throat, left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth, left wrist, left elbow, left shoulder, pit of the throat, middle of the chest, right side of the chest, middle of the chest, left side of the chest, middle of the chest, navel point, middle of the pubic bone, right hip, right knee, right ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth, right ankle, right knee, right hip, middle of the pubic bone, left hip, left knee, left ankle, left big toe, second toe, third, fourth, fifth, left ankle, left knee, left hip, middle of the pubic bone, navel point, middle of the chest, pit of the throat, brow center. Now bring your undivided attention to your heart center. Come back down to the heart breathing, open, receiving and giving. Let go of needing to do anything and just focus your attention at your heart. Thoughts, feelings, and images may arise. Allow them to be, and then let them go as if passing on a cloud in the sky. Drop deeper and surrender. Take a few deep breaths as you begin to come back into the body, into your space. Maybe wiggling some fingers and toes. You can stay where you are for a moment. I'm going to share a short reading from the Radiance Sutras. This body is made of earth and gold, sky and stars, rivers and oceans, masquerading as muscle and bone. Every substance is here, diamonds and silver, magical elixirs, ambrosia that gives visions, herbs that nourish and heal, the foundation of the planet, immortal magnetic iron circulating in the blood. Every element in you loves the others. Earth loves rain, sky loves sun, sun loves the space it shines through. Space loves everyone equally. In meditation, luxuriate in knowing this deep and simple truth. Every cell is an organ of sense, infused with majesty. Roll to one side, take a few breaths, and then find your way to a seated position, coming back to your day. Bring your palms together at your hearts. Honor this time you gave to yourself. May you be at peace. May your hearts remain open. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature. May you be healed, and may you be a source of healing for all beings on the planet. Thank you for allowing me to take the seat of teacher. Namaste.